Comparison is a thief of joy. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm right. I don't know. Because to think of the fact that I graduated college after years, and you know, it was a really great experience. But I graduated almost with a distinction, and I only missed my distinction because I had 1% less in my average CGPA, and rather than feel joyous or feel happy that I graduated college with with a really good with really good grades, and it was great. I keep latching on the fact that I did not graduate with a distinction, and that entirely stole the joy of being a graduate. And maybe it's because I still feel like I have so much miles to go. I have so much more to do academically. But it's still the fact that I do not feel satisfied. I do not feel fulfilled that I have crossed this stage of my life, or that stage, at the particular time. And before I graduated, I've experienced some things, like, for example, the loss of my mom, and before I graduated, because I should have graduated earlier, but I couldn't graduate earlier because my mother had passed away, and I couldn't go to school. It wasn't possible for me to do that because I just couldn't. I wasn't in the mental state, and I had to take time off. Also financially, to be honest, because for the circumstances were, but again, was the fact that I experienced this, and I had to take time off, and she passed away right about the time where I went back in, because it was an anticipated grief, and I had to stop school because I saw it coming. However, I felt like I had figured everything out, but I went back to school, and she passed away towards the end of the semester. Then, towards my exams, and I just couldn't focus. But knowing the kind of person I am, it's really hard on myself. I was able to get through the end of the semester with some good grades, and just not my kind of typical average grades, but I was not below average. I just passed, and everyone around me says, "Oh, people, this is hard for you. It's understandable that you found this semester hard and everything, but still, in me, I'm not giving myself that time to process this, because I think in a world where we live in, it's the human condition, the world where we live in, nobody's gonna wait for you. Nobody cares that. Yeah, your mom passed away. That's why you are not a distinction student. Maybe it's understandable, but your grades, your paper, your degree speaks for you, and you're not gonna be there to tell them, "Oh, my mom passed away, or I was experiencing grief when this happened." And not to take away from the fact that I still graduated with good grades, but it's the fact that I was so close to distinction, but I was 1% off. And I mentioned this to people, and to people close to me, and they said I should give myself grace. I should give myself grace. But I didn't know I have grace to give myself because I spiteful towards myself, and the only way I feel like I can speak for myself is having this distinction. So, again, comparison is a thief of joy, and I consider the fact that I took time off. I feel like I should be in the place to be able to get a distinction, but I just I have the satisfaction of being a graduate now because I felt like I was 1% off of being a distinction student. And this brings me back to a conversation I had with someone towards the end of the year 2025. He had called me and he had told me about something he was working on, and he would want me to be on that because he knows me, he knows my drive, he knows my passion. And I did not decline, but I didn't decline. Definitely, I just didn't say yes and I didn't say no because I had told him I was in a different time of my life where I still have my passion, I still have the fire burning in me, but I did not have the compassion for myself as much anymore, and I felt like I did not deserve to be in that space. But I didn't say that. I didn't say that to him. I just said things along that line, and he said to me, he said, I have completely changed. It's finding it hard to believe this is me now because he knows me, he knew me, and he knows who I am, and it's just hard for him to accept that this is who I have become. And I said to him, this is not me giving up. I have not given up. I'm just taking a step back from so many things. I thought my life was what it was, but it's actually not. It's so far from that, and I'm just a person that is trying to figure things out. Yeah, maybe that's compassion towards myself, maybe not, but I don't register that as compassion towards myself. And he said he would keep in touch with me and we would talk more about what he's working on, and then if I still feel like I want to be on board with it. And I said yes, for sure. Again, it's the realization of who I am becoming and how I am becoming that person, because it's somewhat like I'm starting to give up, but I don't feel like it because I have so much spice burning in me that gives me motivation, if I may call it that. And maybe I'm just exhausted. Maybe I'm just tired of fighting and fighting. But again, this is why I'm upset with myself. I'm disappointed in myself. I'm disappointed of being a graduate without a distinction, because all I've known all my life is excellence and doing things excellently, and now I experience a life-altering event and I still do not have compassion towards myself to give myself grace. And that's because that's the only thing I know is excellence, is striving towards excellence. And maybe my excellence is not motivated because of of just motivation to be excellent. It's motivated by spite of I can be better. I am better than what you think I am. I know so much more than what you think I know. And it makes me think so deeply about myself, about how I perceive myself as this vessel, as this machine of perfection. And it affects my life, it affects the way I handle things personally, it affects the way I deal with things, because I could be compassionate towards so many people, other people, but when it comes to me needing the compassion, I do not give myself that, because I don't think I deserve that. And that's why I am not basking in the fact that I am a graduate. I'm licking my wounds, wondering why I couldn't graduate with a distinction, even when I had to take time off, and I had experienced grief, and I'm still experiencing grief, and I had to write exams while I lost my mom. But I just think it's difficult being a person when there's so much expectation of you, because the world keeps rolling. The world's not gonna wait for you. Nobody's gonna wait for you. And this is not a way of preaching some form of, I don't know, red pill where you just, I don't know, it's just a realization that people can feel pity for you, people can feel love for you, people can feel compassion towards you, but you don't want to be the face of that thing. You don't want to carry it around on your forehead. You don't want to carry it around, because I do not want to do that. And not to say to people that carry grief around or that carry hurts, that is a part of them, and not to say anything bad about them, but as someone who has so much expectation for myself, I feel like I do not have the liberty, I do not have the chance, I do not have the time, I do not have the opportunity to I do not have the opportunity to just wait because I'm experiencing something bad. No one cares. No one would. I don't know. It's just hard to really think of that, and how the world is a rolling stone, and it's either you get up and run, or you wait and be crushed. And I do not want to be crushed. I have so much spite that motivates me to not be crushed, because the source of my spite comes from the fact that I feel I've been told on several occasions that I would be crushed. So no matter how much or how unhealthy I get to not be crushed, I would not be crushed, and I do not want to be crushed. And until when I can figure out how to stay healthy and not be crushed, I will take whatever chance I can take to not be crushed. Because at the end of the day, you only have yourself.